Welcome back. I am Not Events. Today we will design an auto sheep shearing unit. Look at all those sheep. So many colours. Let's decide now the principles for how this shearing unit will operate. This will guide our design choices as we proceed with the prototyping. Observe the sheep. They move by themselves. We will not push the sheep into the shearing zone. We will let them walk into it of their own volition. The second idea is to have each sheep have its own shearing zone. So we have one sheep per auto shearing unit. We will make each unit small, keeping each sheep close to its own shearing zone. The idea here is to make a small unit that can be replicated in a horizontal array. So if higher output rates are desired, we just need to add more units to the array. So tripwire hooks and tripwires, how do they work? Let's build this. This is the dispenser here. It has shears inside. There is the tripwire. So, okay. So if I walk across the tripwire, the dispenser activates. If I walk too close to the dispenser, it doesn't go off. Let's turn on the hitboxes and try to figure out where do we have to go to set it off. Okay. It looks like my hitbox has to be slightly in that block to set off the tripwire. So we need the sheep. We need the sheep to come in here and some of its hitbox to go onto that block to set off the dispenser. So, right. Now if the sheep goes here, I don't know if it will get sheared. Like maybe it only works if the sheep is in that block, or maybe partly in that block. Something like if we can get the sheep half in the block near the dispenser and half in the tripwire block, maybe that will work. Now there's tripwire hooks. Can the sheep jump up on it and then jump out? No, they're not solid. We can't jump up on them. Okay, that's good. So we want the sheep to go about here. So we want to keep the sheep away from the dispenser here. So I don't know. It would be nice if we could put a closed gate there or a fence. But the tripwire hook is in the way. Well, what if we raise the tripwire up one block? And I do have some prior knowledge that sheep are tall enough to activate a tripwire that is one block in the air. Then we'll have room to put a gate or a fence here to keep the sheep from going all the way over to the dispenser, and hopefully guide it to be on these two blocks to activate the tripwire and maybe get sheared. Okay, let's make those modifications. Alright, so I'm hoping to fit the sheep between these gates here, so like this. Ah, oh dear. Those gates open. That isn't good. I'm going to have to... I guess I'll try fence. Okay. Okay, let's build our first try at a sheep shearing unit. We'll need to enclose the sheep, we'll need to put down some grass, we'll need some of the grass to be protected so the sheep can't eat it all. Yep, let's proceed with that. This fence here will keep the sheep out of this area, so the sheep can only get into here. So, it's time to bring our first test subject into the experimental area. Is that still on? You'll cut that bit out, right? The sheep is not going into the shearing zone here. Maybe its pathfinding is being blocked by this closed gate here. So let's remove it. Right, okay, and let's observe some more and see if the sheep can now pathfind into there. We need the rat to go fully into the trap. It looks like this fence post here is stopping the sheep from going into the shearing zone. Let's get rid of that fence post and then let's see what happens. From this latest observation run, we can take away some points. The sheep is getting sheared. Hooray! So, the sheep is tall enough to trip the 1 block tall tripwire. What else? The fence seems to be successfully protecting the grass from being eaten. So I can take away this protecting block that's protecting that grass there. The fence seems to be doing that job. Now, I have done other observations where I have seen baby sheep able to eat grass that has fence on top of it. I suspect the way it works is if the center of the sheep's hitbox can get onto a grass block, then it can eat it, and a baby sheep's hitbox is smaller than an adult sheep's hitbox. What else? Oh, I want to try putting the dispenser 1 block down, which will be interesting because then the dispenser will have to operate through a fence. Now, can it do that? I don't know. We'll find out. I might put down a hopper and a chest as well to catch some of the wool. Okay, let's make these changes. Oh, there's something else I want to try as well. I want to try putting the gate, the closed gate, back in that position, just to see if, yeah, I'll try it. Well, the sheep isn't getting sheared. I think I'll need to remove this closed fence gate. So let's make that change and then observe. Some points to take away from the previous observation. The dispenser seems to work through the fence that's in the way, so the fence is not actually in the way for the dispenser to work. Right, the hopper and chest here, look, we don't really need that stuff. That's a distraction. When I make a horizontal array of these units, I will have a hopper minecart running underneath on a rail to collect the wool. So I should get rid of this hopper and this chest. That's a distraction. That won't be a part of the final build. Now, the sheep, it is getting sheared, but not all the time. I saw the sheep come in here, activate the tripwire several times, and not get sheared. So we need to force the sheep to come in, activate the tripwire, but the sheep needs to be forced more over to the left. So this fence here is not enough to force it far enough to the left. Let's try replacing the fence with a solid block and see if that does the trick. Okay, so let's make those changes. Now that we've made those changes, let's observe what happens. Okay, the sheep is still not getting sheared every time. The solid blocks are not enough to force the sheep to the left as we need it to. Something else to note, the sheep is capable of eating that grass block, the one that is directly under the tripwire. This opens up some exciting possibilities for miniaturization of the auto shearing unit. Oh. As I was saying before, there is the exciting prospect for miniaturization of the auto shearing unit. We could conceivably confine the sheep to that block and that block. We'll take away the fence, and so the unit would become one block wide. And this is fantastic and exciting. Um, when I started this out, I thought I would end up with a unit size of 4x4. So I would be able to fit 16 sheep into one chunk. But if we can miniaturize it so that the unit is one block wide, that will be a fantastic increase in the sheep density. We'll investigate that later, but for now, we'll continue where we are with this setup. I'm going to put trapdoors there and there to try to force the sheep to always get sheared when it steps into the when it trips the tripwire. Okay, let's do that. I put that fence there to try to stop the sheep jumping up and down, trying to jump up and down on that trapdoor there. But so we're observing now, but the sheep still sometimes tries to jump up and down on that. I have another idea. I might put a trapdoor. Um, yeah. Um, on that block, but one above. Um, we'll give that a go. But every time the sheep comes in, it is getting sheared. So the trapdoor is successfully pushing the sheep, forcing the sheep over to the left as we require. Once again, we will observe. Note that we have now confined the sheep to be able to move in only 3 blocks. The results from this latest observation, the sheep is getting sheared every time it moves onto the tripwire, but the sheep is spending a lot of time on the tripwire, reducing the efficiency of the shearing unit. And it's spending a long time on the tripwire because it only has these 2 other blocks to move onto randomly. And the sheep has to get off the tripwire completely and then go back onto the tripwire to get sheared. So if I was going to use this setup as the unit, as the shearing unit, I would add another row of accessible grass blocks for the sheep to move onto to give it a better chance to get off the tripwire. So I won't pursue this particular setup further. What I do want to do, what I want to try is let the sheep have access only to that grass block, that block there, where the tripwire is, and say that grass block there. So confine the sheep to this 1x3 area, and let's see what happens with that. Well, this setup does not work. The sheep simply can't get off the tripwire, and so it can never be sheared. What a shame. This setup would have been a quite small auto shearing unit, but it doesn't work. So I'm going to set it back to how it was before. I'm also going to put the dispenser up one block, so I can put a grass block down there. Well, it looks like this is the auto sheep shearing unit that we have been seeking. It's not as small as I had hoped for, but every time the sheep comes into the shearing zone, it gets sheared. The dimensions of the unit are 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 blocks by 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. That means we can fit 16 of these units in a chunk. The main trick with this unit is that trapdoor, which forces the sheep to go into the shearing zone at an angle, so that it always overlaps this block to get sheared, and also the tripwire. We could, of course, make a much smaller. Oops. Okay, I'm getting questions. Of course, we could make a much smaller auto sheep shearing unit if we got rid of the tripwire and tripwire hooks and activated the dispenser instead using a timed redstone pulse. And that way we wouldn't need the sheep to move at all, so we could confine the sheep to a single block right next to the dispenser, and we could cram a whole lot more of these units into one chunk. Let's make a demonstration of this. The factors which will limit the production rate of this auto shearing unit are the rate at which the sheep eats the grass block that it is standing on, and also the rate at which grass respreads onto the eaten grass block. The unit itself is quite small. It's 2 blocks wide and 2 blocks deep, meaning that 64 of these units can fit into a chunk. And this is 4 times as many as with the tripwire unit. I think the tripwire unit is more elegant, however, because the tripwire unit only activates the dispenser when the sheep moves into range. Whereas with this unit here, yeah, it's a timed redstone pulse, and the dispenser's going off at the same time all the time. But this unit here is, the density of sheep is so much greater, it's tempting to use it. I don't know which one I'll use yet when I construct a full-scale farm. Thank you for your time. And now, my test subject, I release you from your duty.